The Hunger Games. It's not very good. In fact, in my purely subjective opinion, it kinda stinks. As many of you already know, The Hunger Games is set in the future nation of Panam, which rose from the ruins of a post-apocalyptic North America. Every year for the past 74, the totalitarian capital government selects a boy and girl from each of the 12 districts to compete in the Hunger Games, a brutal televised arena sport. KATNISS EVERDEEN, Jennifer Lawrence, a girl from District 12, volunteers in the place of her younger sister Primrose, and she and the other contestants must fight for survival until only one remains. Where to begin? I hated the movie for roughly the first 45 minutes, mainly because of its cloying Technicolor art direction and its heavy-handed commentary on reality television. Much like my friend Greg in his review of the book, I found the kooky hairstyles and makeup, flamboyant costumes, and melodramatic acting of the capital citizens to be ludicrous and faintly unpleasant to look at. The capital is a goofy kaleidoscope that detracts from the seriousness of the Hunger Games themselves and pulls you out of its world. This problem does diminish sharply by the second act, but the lengthy capital scenes simply left a bad taste in my mouth. I also didn't like the film's very blatant commentary. The Hunger Games can be seen as a dark satire of reality television, as the tributes must seek favor from the audience so that they receive care packages and are less likely to be eliminated. I don't like, watch, or care about reality TV, and the film lacks any subtlety in its satire, with HAYMITCH ABERNATHY, Woody Harrelson, and the announcers outright stating how these shows work. Besides, the need to please the audience so that you can gain their support falls somewhat flat, as HAYMITCH, an ally of KATNISS from before the tournament started, is the only one sending her care packages. If KATNISS simply learned that the Hunger Games is a major televised event and inferred from that how she needs to put on a good show for the audience, possibly by watching other tributes receive care packages for entertaining actions, we, the film's audience, would have felt less like we were being strung along through an unsubtle satire. There were many aspects of the opening that I liked. Watching KATNISS volunteer for the Hunger Games conjured an appropriate sinking feeling of despair, for instance, as you know that she is very likely destined to die with that decision. Jennifer Lawrence, as KATNISS, is a great young actress. Woody Harrelson is fun as the surly, drunken mentor for the District 12 tributes. Stanley Tucci is endearingly hammy as the TV presenter Caesar FLICKERMAN, and it is satisfying to see KATNISS prove her skill to the decadent judges while mocking them at the same time. These elements are good, but overall I wasn't enjoying myself in the first act. The second act is substantially better, as it appears to leave behind the unsubtle satire, replaces the confetti capital aesthetic with a lush forest, and concentrates more on KATNISS's grueling fight for survival. At least, it does for a little while. The tension doesn't really last very long during the games. The arena mustn't be very big, as KATNISS could reach the edge from the starting point at a brisk pace in a fairly short amount of time. Despite all this, KATNISS is able to sleep in the trees, camp in a cave, tend to a dead body for presumably hours, and lay comatose from wasp stings for 2 days without being caught by the other tributes. KATNISS's scenes with the little girl Rue, with whom she develops a sisterly bond, are poignant and touching, but, again, they dilute the suspense that a brutal arena sport is supposed to have. And then, the blunt satire returns with a vengeance and ruins the film. The tournament managers decide that a story of star-crossed lovers could boost the ratings, so HAYMITCH encourages KATNISS to act out a romance with PEETA, Josh Hutcherson, the other tribute from District 12. This plot development saps the film of something that I believe all films should try to achieve: verisimilitude. PEETA is clearly attracted to KATNISS, but I can't tell if the feelings are mutual. I'm not sure if KATNISS really loves PEETA or if she's just pleasing the crowd, and this ambiguity bothers me. KATNISS's relationships with GALE and even the capital stylist CINNA are much more convincing. Moreover, since Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson, who play KATNISS and PEETA respectively, are actors playing contestants in a tournament who are, in turn, acting in roles, the film really drives home the fact that these situations and characters aren't real. Therefore, I can't get invested in what's happening. As I've said before on this channel, I don't like being reminded that I'm watching a movie, and The Hunger Games, by its own design, is guilty of this. The more I thought about The Hunger Games, the less I liked it, and come to think of it, I disliked the movie for the same reason that Greg likes the book. I had hoped that The Hunger Games would be good, but I was surprised by how bad it was. With saccharine, unappealing art direction, heavy-handed satire, limited tension, and, toward the end, a complete lack of realism to keep you engaged, The Hunger Games is only intermittently enjoyable. The Hunger Games earns 2 stars out of 5. Thanks for watching. Cheers!